Hello everyone. In the last video we talked at great lengths at the methodology used to make modding possible in Need for Speed 4 High Stakes. Today we're turning the clock back just a year, back to Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit. In 1998, the third part of the Need for Speed series was released, subtitled Hot Pursuit. This installment not only introduced police chases where you could play both sides, but also brought a new collection of various cars. Some of them being transcendent, beautiful works of art that stand the test of time, like the Lamborghini Diablo SV or the Mercedes-Benz AMG CLK GTR, while others remain only within the realm of the game, like the stupendous Ital-designed Shigeru or the Spectre R42. However, today we will talk about player-made modifications that, in my opinion, improve the look and detail of the cars, while staying within the style and technical limitations of the original Hot Pursuit. It's worth mentioning that, as with Need for Speed High Stakes, the PC and PlayStation versions have many differences, and thus this video will only focus on the PC version. The third Need for Speed title is the first game in the series to support additional content, or so-called DLC in today's parlance. On the official Need for Speed website, players could download 4 add-ons for free, including the Ferrari 456M GT, the Jaguar XKR, the fabulous Lister Storm, and the Spectre R42. Interestingly, the Spectre brand never returned in a Need for Speed game, but that's in no small part thanks to the fact they haven't made a car since 2001. Each car came with its own installer, and part of the car showcase had to be installed separately. They worked only if you had the full installation of the game, with all registry entries in the system. There's even a dedicated button in the game's menu to visit the NFS website. However, regional versions had their own unique cars. For instance, in the Australian version, you would see the Ford Falcon GT or HSV VT GTS, and a special version of the Chevrolet Corvette C5 as the pace car as used in the 1998 Indianapolis 500. Unlike the next Need for Speed game, the PlayStation versions did not have their unique cars here. One of the first tools for modifying game files was a program simply titled Car Tool, which could convert car models into the game's format. This program was included in the American edition of the game as a zip archive on the disc. Future modding gifts like this from Electronic Arts are really rare. Otherwise, however, 26 years later, modders still use programs like those mentioned on the screen, all of which were used and created by fans through studying the game's inner workings. What about player-made cars? The internet remembers many different car mods, from various experiments and original models to ports from other games. For instance, models from Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 were often used to quickly increase the level of detail in cars. Some of these mods are now inaccessible, as player content websites come and go, and even major platforms like NFScars.net have disappeared. You may remember this website. At one point, the forum stopped working for about 5 years, and NFS Cars itself became unavailable from time to time. However, about a year ago, the site was closed for good, although a full archive of the mod files remains available in the Internet Archive. Next, we will look at mods from the website nfsaddons.com, which, though old, is still very active. It's recommended to install the modern patch for the game, as it not only increases the game's technical limits, including graphical fidelity of cars, but also fixes many bugs found in the original game, adds true widescreen support, and keeps the game compatible with older versions of Windows, and much more. A question you no doubt have at this point is to what options you have to expand your car collection given the game's limitations. By default, in the game's vanilla setting, the game works if you have up to 50 cars installed, including both sports cars and police vehicle models. However, if you add so much as one more car, the various game issues will occur due to errors. Each car model also has a unique serial number, which must be unique to avoid bugs when selecting vehicles. Also, to facilitate a well-working video game process, each vehicle must have no more than 3,000 polygons, otherwise the game will crash with yet another error. or at the very least have frame rate issues. However, this limitation can be somewhat worked around if you choose to have only one opponent. Then the model can have more detail. Another limitation that is otherwise harmless, though somewhat annoying, is to do with texture size. If the modder adds textures with a resolution higher than 256 by 256, the game engine will forcibly compress them to the specified quality. As a result, even with unofficial patches for the game, good replacements for original models should fit within the game's technical limits and not stand out visually from other game elements, such as track geometry and other textures. Of course, there are mods for tracks as well, but that's another topic entirely. The car replacements showcased next are created by users Rata536, NFS F1 McLaren, and Schnoobler. Though over the years, many more people have been involved in mod creation. The first thing that needed fixing was the proportions of the cars, which, even for the time, were somewhat unusual looking. Elements such as exhaust pipes or rims on some cars have more polygons, but the stylization and use of elements as part of the car textures remain unchanged. If you have the modern patch installed, the car textures will improve thanks to being twice the resolution of the original. However, without the patch, as mentioned earlier, the textures will be only slightly better than the original models. Any car selection will work with a full set of opponents or during chases with traffic options. In some cases, factory color sets have been improved, and there are corrections to car showcases in the menu, and minor fixes like interior textures or car specs, such as correcting the gear skipping issue. Speaking of traffic, it's been completely recreated. All 17 civilian cars and the 6 police cars with unique cop versions in different locations. Players can use these cars with the cheat code GO01, where the number corresponds to the car's index. Nearly all the cars can be repainted. As a small detail, the license plates on traffic cars now have appropriate cheat codes written on them for players to use. All the mod links from this video, as well as that of the modern patch, will be in the description. That's all for now. I appreciate you checking this out, and continuing to support the modding efforts in the Need for Speed community. See you next time.